social, political, health, education book, which is a subject for the junior sort. I done in junior sort too, from first year up to junior sort in secondary school, has caused a lot of controversy, and I think we all know why. So we obviously know that the majority of people in the government, in the civil service and high up civil service, etc., hate the country. They hate everything about Ireland. They want to get rid of Irish identity. And we see this in the book too. They want to teach children to hate their own country, and we see it across the Western world too. That people are getting offended by their own national flag flying in their own country, and specifically too, they're trying to redefine what Irish is, etc., trying to make sure that the Irish people have white privilege, etc. These American terms that's coming over from the United States. And to be told honest, we have no privilege at all in our history. You've seen during the famine we were oppressed, we were subjugated for 800 years by the British Empire. People had to flee from an awful famine in our country to the United States, to the free world, to seek shelter, to seek work, to seek employment, to send money back home, to make a living with basically nothing on their back but their clothes. And they say we have white privilege, etc. It's all just waste baiting. It's all just anti-Irish to be honest. Really, and at the end of the day, it is, and we see what it is. They're basically just trying to a big attack on Irish culture. They're trying to redefine what Irish is, and what they're trying to do at the same time too is trying to bring the next generation to think that every Irish person is a dangerous individual, etc. That is, extremist, etc., and shouldn't think like that and all that. 1984 stuff basically. But of course, it's important to learn about the civil rights movement in America. So I'm not saying that, and other things to that. But what I'm trying to say, if you read through the articles and stuff, it basically, there's nothing more than it's basically gets Irish people trying to bring people into the mindset that everything in Ireland is dangerous and far right and extremist, etc. That's more or less what the book's telling you. And it's basically whoever wrote it is an anti-Irish person that doesn't like anything, wants to destroy the foundations of our society, wants to destroy the Irish language, doesn't like Irish culture, just hates it, wants to destroy it, wants to redefine what Ireland is, what our Irish identity is, our history, our culture, etc. We want to redefine Irish history, etc. And that's what really, at the end of the day, they want to do in this part of the book. Really it is, and anybody, if you read through it, that's what I get of it. And a majority of people do too, and a lot of people, teachers, etc., have come to that conclusion too. In the book. That's why it's been taken off the school curriculum. It's been retracted from schools, because it's plain to be seen. It's not something that's hard to see. If you read through a few lines of it, you kind of get the gist of it. Because again, these books particularly, they should tell the truth, of course, that's the main thing, but at the same time they shouldn't be trying to promote basically everything in Ireland against you, basically. The state is founded on all this evil stuff, basically, and that we have white privilege and etc. These terms should never be used in Ireland, first of all, because we have nothing to do with that. That's more of an American thing than an Irish thing. I think the main point, we could talk about SPH, I've done very well in SPH, but the main thing should be about how democracy works, how elections work, how you vote your politicians, the importance of making the right decisions in elections. Obviously with your health, how to look after yourself, your mental health, etc. I'm delighted to hear that the considering that now in school after 2027 that you have to learn how to look after yourself, mental health issues, how to cope, etc. So that's what they should be taught in health, and particularly and that's the main things, if you ask me, and how important it is to make sure the truth. And I think that's the most important about political education, that the truth always comes out, and that the right things are done in history. But I do think in this article it is deeply offensive to Irish people. And I do think we have to try and step back a bit from that too. Blaming every side and etc. So we have to try and be fair. And I think that the article wasn't fair. That's the main thing. It was far from fair. That's what that is. It's far from fair. Whatever about maybe criticism and stuff, that's of course allowed in democracy. But the way they portrayed it, if you read through it, it's all over the internet. If you read through it, it tells you a different story really. But the main thing, as I say, is that we see I've heard many cases of people hating the Irish tricolour, etc. That has happened. And we have to try and perfect that. And particularly, as I say, if you look around in Ireland, you wouldn't really blame people for being upset with the country, but we shouldn't have people questioning Irish identity, etc. We shouldn't have that. But it basically, in my opinion, is just trying to stir up anger, hatred, etc. And that's what it really is, I think, at the end of the day, this book. Typed for they've retracted it, but again, it's the fact of the matter they always want to try and get to the young people, etc., to try and influence them, etc., etc. That's what's happening. Now, when I was in social education, just briefly when I'm talking about it, is irrelevant to the current topic, but the majority of things was about democracy, it's about voting, about different things. Obviously, it was right up my alley. I done the best in my year nearly in social education. So no, not to blow my own trumpet, but I did very well in it because I knew a lot about it already. Other teenagers wouldn't pass much remarks on politics, etc., etc. But it's an important thing, especially when you grow older, etc. It's important to know your politicians. It's important to know everything. Even just the basic laws, the basic principles of democracy. The most important things to cherish in a democracy. It's very important to remember that. Thank you.